So this video is the first of a few videos that's going to discuss specific urban dynamics that are part of this course. So today we're going to look at suburbanisation and exurbanisation. We're going to start with suburbanisation. You may guess from the name what it's actually referring to. So it is referring to the creation of suburbs outside the CBD of a city. So the definition is the movement of people, employment and facilities from the inner city towards the outer suburb area. As we've discussed before, Sydney started as a small city with many people living in the inner city and inner west. The establishment of a complex transport network, the construction of the Sydney Harbour Bridge, as well as the introduction of cars, led to further urban sprawl and therefore suburbanisation. You'll see from the Sydney Rail Network map how far our city sprawls and how it's interconnected through transport. You'll also note that it features the new metro line that goes out to those newer suburbs in the northwest. So before I mention urban sprawl, so urban sprawl is quite similar to suburbanisation. It refers to the continuous and often unplanned outward growth of an urban area. I included this image because I thought it was quite an interesting way to illustrate the idea of suburbanisation and the commute from suburbs into the CBD. Obviously this image is not real, however it symbolises the growing population and reliance on cars rather than public transport and what issues could occur in the future. This infographic talks about some of the downsides of suburbanisation and that it's not as cheap or necessarily a good idea as we think it should be. Some people believe that urban consolidation is the way to go rather than urban sprawl, as it has less, you're able to consolidate resources. What I would like you to do is to pause the video and have a look at some of the statistics on this infographic and note down any interesting ones that you think are relevant to suburbanisation. Okay, so this video, as you can probably tell even by looking at the picture, is an older video that talks about life in Australia. What I'd like you to do is pause the video, go to the PowerPoint version, and go to the hyperlink of this photo and watch this video. It gives you a bit of an insight of what Sydney was like a number of years ago and how it has continued to grow. When the video was made, we'd only just hit 3 million people, so it has changed quite a bit since then. These are also similar videos to the last one, but the first one there is suburbanisation in the USA and the second one is suburbanisation in the UK. Now I'm not going to say that watching these is mandatory, but I put them there just if you were interested to see a comparison between the three different places. Alright, so what I would like you to do is go to the textbook and read pages 164 to 168 and add summary notes of those pages to your notes on suburbanisation. Then I'd like you to complete questions 1, 5, 6, 9 and 12. Now we're going to look at exurbanisation. So exurbanisation is a process whereby people, usually those who are quite affluent, move from the city to rural areas but continue to maintain an urban way of life, either through long-distance commuting or technology. So transport systems allowed these people to, for these places to prosper. This is obviously once we had public transport, once cars were introduced, these places were being able to be established, and it has led to some element of decentralisation. So the picture on the right-hand side here is from the textbook. The pink is the urban region, so what we call the Sydney metropolitan area, and the green is Sydney's ex-urban and peri-metropolitan region. So you see that Galston is in pink, even though it's exurbia, but it is still technically part of the metropolitan area. You see parts of the Central Coast, Galston and Wyong are in green, out west towards the Blue Mountains, Lithgow and Katoomba, southwest to Camden and Picton, and further south to Wollongong, Mittagong, Moss Vale and Oak Flats. Now, people often lead to this lifestyle because they want to have a semi-rural residential environment. They also still decide to work in the city or have close proximity to city because they have other reasons why, without having to travel too far. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to select one of the exurbia or peri-metropolitan areas from this map. And I'd like you then to find out the following about that place. So I'd like you to find out when it was established, what led to its existence. So why did people move there? Did they move there because it was an easy commute? Did they move there because of a particular industry? Maybe gold mining or some sort of other industry. Did they move there because it's particularly pretty or for other reasons? So why was it established? And what this then leads on from that, what continues to attract people to live there or even visit the area. So here is the table that I mentioned in the last video that you're meant to be filling out as you learn about the different urban dynamics. So what you can do is you can fill out this from the for suburbanisation and exurbanisation. You will need to read the textbook pages for exurbanisation and add to your notes. I think there's only a couple of pages, but this will also help you fill out this section of the table for these two urban dynamics.